What is up, Bears fans? Welcome to the Bears Huddle podcast, your UK take on all things Chicago Bears, guys. We're going to talk Ryan Poles. We're going to pick some of the highlights out of his media availability today at Hallis Hauler. Some real interesting reactions, some real interesting what he didn't say. I want to just get one thing straight before I start the video because I got picked up on this before. Can I just explain to those of us who don't understand English grammar or grammar in full stop, never mind if it's English grammar, American grammar, whatever grammar. A question mark means you are posing a question. You are not making a statement. If you are posing a question, you are not saying that something is definitely going to happen. What you are doing is seeking an opinion. You are offering an opinion and you are seeking an opinion back on said opinion that you offer. So let's just clear that up before anyone tries to say that I am clickbaiting, that I am click raging, beige baiting, whatever. Guys, it's not happening. There's a question mark, question. Right, let's get on with it. So, Ryan Poles spoke to the media today, and there are certain things I think we need to pick out from what he said, and we'll obviously pick a bit more bits and pieces out of this over the coming sort of few days. There's so much to talk about. Look, yes, the season is over for the Bears. We've still got the conference championships. We'll talk a little bit about those. Obviously, the off-season is full. I mean, it is full. I mean, obviously, your situation is with Spot Track saying that the Bears have around $5 million in cap space at this moment in time, with an incredible amount. I can't remember the exact number. I think it's between 24 and 27 people are coming into free agents. The Bears obviously got people who need contract extensions. There's issues obviously around contract restructures. The Bears need to generate space on that that cap to create space to be able to sign players, to extend players, and to, in free agency, go after players. We all know there is work to be done on the defensive line. There is work to be done possibly in the secondary with all four safeties out of contract at the end of this season. So there is work to do, and the Bears do need to do a lot of cap work here to create some space with only that $5 million in cap space, which could project down to even actually being about $4 million over the cap once all the figures come in, contracts, etc. At this moment in time, DJ Moore is the top earner on 28.5, followed very closely by Montez Sweat. So look, there may be some work around them to do as well. Joe Tooney, perhaps a restructure around his to create some space. Perhaps some team-friendly deals as well. There's a lot to talk about and a lot to discuss, and we'll be all over that. We'll also start our draft work as well. I've got to say, love a draft. Love looking at the players coming out of college, matching them to the needs of the Chicago Bears. So there's so much to come on the channel, guys. The mates, if you don't want to miss out, hit the sub, ring the notification bell. I may be English, but I know the Bears. Right, let's talk, obviously, what Nick Poles has said. This was an interesting one. This was a really fascinating one. Now, post Sunday's game, there has been an awful lot of question marks around DJ Moore, and I think some of them have been slightly unfair, some of the criticism he has got over that final route. Caleb has defended him and said that it's down to a misunderstanding between him and DJ, but a lot of analysts have said, and I thought Chase Daniel did a great piece of work on this post-game, have pretty much slaughtered DJ Moore for that route, saying that he didn't run it hard enough, he didn't run it fast enough, he quit on it. He is, largely to blame for that interception, that he didn't even make an effort to break it up. And there's been a lot of criticism there of DJ Moore for that. Now, this is not the first time that DJ has been criticised for his attitude, criticised for his route running, criticised for his giving up on routes. It has happened previously. DJ is a super talent. Look, don't get me wrong. DJ is a very, very good player. But Ryan Poles was asked about DJ Moore's fit on the roster. And this is what he had to say. We have got a lot of tough decisions to make figuring that out. And as Clay Harbor says here, that's not exactly a ringing endorsement, is it? That's not DJ is a vital part of this team going forward. DJ is under contract. And there's lots of things that Ryan could have said to deflect that. But that statement to me, it says we've got a lot of tough decisions to make figuring this out. Tells me that this is certainly something they are considering. Certainly something they are thinking about. And it's certainly, I think, crossed their minds going into the rest of the off-season now. And, trading DJ Moore, possibly getting another pick for him, and obviously generating cap space. That's what this is about. Now, sick podcast with Adam Rank, which I absolutely love. He commented this. He said ESPN's big off-season prediction for the Bears will trade wide receiver DJ Moore, citing the future. The position is already set with Rome Odunze and Luther Burden III. So ESPN are already come out and saying, in light of what has been said by Ryan Poles, that this guy is on his way, that he is going to go, that he will be traded away this offseason. That is the prediction of ESPN. And like I said, that comes on the back of the hardly ringing endorsement from Ryan Poles of DJ Moore in the comments that he made today. Now, look, I ain't saying for a minute that DJ has to be traded or should be traded, but it certainly begs an interesting question. Rome Odunze at the start of the season certainly did look like a wide receiver one. Yes, by the end of the season, those drops really hurt him and hurt us. That touchdown, for instance, that he drops right at the start of that first half, on the Bears' first possession against the Rams, hurt the team. So, there is an issue there, but I think a lot of that could be down to Rome's unfitness, Rome's foot. Luther Burden, has looked outstanding. His ability to juke past people, to make the first guy miss and then get yards after catch is quite clear there. Yes, Almid Zaccheaus is also out of contract. He is a free agent, so decisions to be made over him. Ja'Day Walker obviously is still under contract. Colston Loveland, I think, has been a massive receiving threat. Cole Kmet still under contract again. So there's options there, I think, enough options there for weapons to trade him away, to generate income, to generate cap space, to generate draft capital. So, hey, who knows? Like I said, it's hardly the ringing endorsement that DJ would have been looking for, or DJ's people would have been looking for, come this media availability from Ryan Poles. Another interesting comment. This comes from something picked up by my one of the guys I absolutely love. I love this guy, Nick Brody, just of the Chicago Bears. Brilliant podcaster. Learned so much from this guy. Real inspiration. Ryan Poles showed a little smile when he was asked about Maxx Crosby potentially coming to Chicago. Now, obviously, we know Maxx Crosby is, we believe, going to be available to trade for. Obviously the Raiders are looking for draft capital. They're looking for a rebuild. They're looking to restructure their team. You've got a Raiders team that needs an awful lot of work this offseason. So, this could be something that could be a goer. And certainly bringing Maxx Crosby and adding Maxx Crosby to this roster gives you and answers your pass rush problems. If you've got Montez Sweat one end, Maxx Crosby the other end, who do you double team? You can't double team Sweat because that means you leave Crosby one-on-one. You double team Crosby, you leave Sweat one-on-one. It automatically creates those problems, those headaches for offensive coordinators, those real issues for offensive linemen. Who do you cover? It's interesting that, that there was no comment kind of made on that. It was just a very much a wry smile from Ryan Poles. I'm not saying for a minute that this is a goer, but it's a very interesting reaction nonetheless from Ryan. And look, I certainly think that this would be an outstanding move by the Bears. I'm not saying he is the guy. We could go for Trey Hendrickson. We could go for a number of different people, but he certainly is a talent. And, as he showed against the Bears this year, he is an exceptional pass rusher. So certainly someone that is well worth a look-see, I think. So Maxx Crosby, let me know your thoughts on that Maxx Crosby story. This is from Brad Biggs. Obviously, Brad Biggs is a very reliable Bears journo. He's a guy, again, who when he speaks, you listen to what he's got to say. He said, when he was asked directly about veteran safety Kevin Byard, he says this. He said, that's a player we would like to have back. The strongest indication yet that Byard is certainly a player the Bears want back. He says it will be a challenge and noted for all four safeties on the roster are coming out of contract. Now, why will it be a challenge, you may ask? Well, obviously, Kevin Byard has had an outstanding season this past NFL season. He has been absolutely fantastic. A real career year from Kevin Byard, in terms of what he's done this year. And it's not just obviously that, it's also his leadership that he brings to this team as well. 61 solo tackles, 7 interceptions leading the league, 8 passes defensed, and all that leadership as well. Now, I think it's the one thing about Kevin Byard is, yes, Kevin Byard is getting old. He's 32 years old. I think he will realise that for him now, it is going to be a year-to-year basis, a season-to-season basis, that he will rely on getting contracts. You know, he's not going to get long-term contracts from anybody. Now, yes, he may obviously get a very lucrative offer from another team, which the Bears may not want to match given the lack of cap space and their desire to fulfill other positions. But it seems that Byard is certainly someone very, very high on the shopping list for the Bears. And I certainly would hope the Bears would do what they can to bring Kevin Byard back, because he would bring leadership to that defense, which would be useful for Dennis Allen, which obviously will be useful for the secondary coach if it remains Al Harris or whoever it is. Having someone like Kevin Byard around would be huge. Let me bring that back up again. So I think that, you know, having him back would be absolutely massive. And I think, you know, he is kind of, I think, the safety the Bears are favouring at this moment to bring back. Now, big question there over Jaquan Brisker. He's 26, obviously, so he's 6 years Byard's junior. Many people may argue that it surely be better to commit money to Jaquan Brisker. Now, Brisker, obviously, I think will be shopped in this draft. In this free agency period, I think he will look to the open market as much as he professes his love for the city of Chicago and for this team. I think the Bears are slightly concerned about giving him anything long term or giving him any big money, because of that concussion history, that injury history. Yes, this season he's played 17 games. Fantastic. Now, if the Bears could go to him and say, look, we'll give you a 2-year deal, looking at perhaps 10 to 12 million. If you play 17 games again, then we'll look at an extension. We'll look at giving you bigger money. We'll look at extending that, because we love your healthiness this year, but you've got to even recognise, Jaquan, that you haven't brought that previously. Now, it could be that another team comes in and is prepared to take that risk on Jaquan Brisker, prepared to pay him the bigger money. So I think there is a possible risk there that Brisker could be lost. And I think you've seen, haven't you already, you know, the Bears committed to Kyler Gordon long term. Now, Kyler Gordon has a slight injury history, not as big an injury history as Jaquan Brisker. Maybe there's that injury history is just scaring them a little too much to commit too much money to Jaquan Brisker. Guys, let me know your thoughts on that one. So there's a bit of a few bits and pieces. There's few early headlines coming out of Ryan Pohl's media availability today at Hallas Hall, guys. Let me know your thoughts on that big DJ Moore question, on the Kevin Byard question, and on Maxx Crosby as well. Thanks for watching. As always, guys, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And remember, bear down.